Alright, tonight I'm going to give a little instruction on bachelor cooking, Ryan Heavyhead style. Mahoney's away up north, and I have to fend for myself and for Sheen, and so I'm going to make a stewp.
Bitch, I ain't eating that.
Sheen doesn't want any of my stewp. So a stewp, Ryan's stewp, is a cross between a stew and a soup. What does that mean? Well, you're gonna find out pretty quick here. But you start with a little bit of water and whatever has to cook first because it takes long. So our longest cooking ingredient is some potatoes. So I just took like a medium potato, chopped it up, put it in here. If you got a whole family to feed and Sheen's gonna eat with you or something like that, then you might cook a little bit more. But if you're just fending for yourself, small to medium potatoes should be good. Get that boiling, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, once your tough starches get boiling pretty good, and I want to re-emphasize, don't go overboard on the starches. You know, 1 or 2 small potatoes or yams or some kind of root starch will do per person that you're planning to serve. Even for a couple of servings. Get a hot frying pan ready, because we're going to get into our protein next. And put a little oil on there. You don't have to be fancy. I'm just using some canola and extra virgin olive oil blend from Compliments. I have a better olive oil over here, but I'm not opting to use that because it will the taste of the olive oil is going to get, you know, eliminated in the context of the stewp. So here we have our proteins that we're going to use. If I had fish balls on hand, I would use fish balls. Tell you that right now. I'm famous for my Ryan fishball stew. But what I do have is I have a beef steak, a bit of fat on it. That's going to go in the mix here. And I've got a bunch of chicken drumlets, chicken wing drumlets, fat part of the chicken wing. So those babies are going to go in the frying pan. I'm going to do it when I have 2 hands free. But trust me, they're going in. And we're also going to add, once those are kind of cooked a little bit, we're going to add these into the, let's just add them right now. I know, you guys are freaking out looking at this, but beans going right in. Right in. Not like beans that I've rehydrated or anything like that. Canned beans and tomato sauce. Put them in there. Right alongside your starches. Let's get this stuff rolling. A little tip here, you got to make sure that you don't thaw your meat before you're going to cook it, because you want to try to cook it on high when it's frozen so that you can burn the outside and keep the inside raw. It's an important detail. So we got our whole block of chicken drumlets here. Look at those babies. They're getting ready. We got our steak. Turn that over. Won't be too long before we start cutting this stuff up and peeling it from the bone, throwing it into our stewp broth. It's an important little detail that I forgot to add. You need to buy this meat when it's 50% off at the grocery store, which means it's going to spoil within 24 hours. You need to buy it at that point, put it in your freezer for about 2-3 weeks, up to 8 months before you cook it. few minutes later into the process, and you can see the meat is cooking good. It's almost time to separate it from the bone. We got some good boiling going on with the beans and the potatoes. And I've cut up a carrot over here, a good sized carrot. Add that into the mix. Can add the carrot right away, and we'll start separating the meat from the bone. I want you naysayers to note that as I'm cutting up the beef, this is perfect. Like I said, nice and cooked on the outside. Medium rare to rare on the inside. Pretty perfect, ready to go into the boil. Now I know purists would not take the bones out of this chicken, but I don't like eating a stewp with chicken bones in it. So I'm going to take my meat off. Alright, while waiting for my chicken to cook, I decided to get my other ingredients out, or some of them anyway. And in the process, I had what Justine described as a going to shit incident, where a big bag of chia seeds dropped down and spilled all over the place. And there's sticky stuff like oil and on everything. And the chia seeds are stuck to the floor of the counter. Now, most people would say that this is a setback, but if you're into bachelor cooking, this is not a setback at all. Everything goes into the stewp. Just put it in the stewp. So I've gone through, what you need to do is you need to go through both your refrigerator and your cupboards, and you need to look for stuff that tastes good and possibly could taste good together. So I pulled out leftover chili. I'm not sure how old this is.
That's a
Week old. Boil it. It'll be perfectly fine. A little bit of leftover chili. Put that in the stewp. I've also got satay peanut sauce I'm going to put in there. Frank's Red Hot. A little bit of locavore from Luco Farms. A stone ground, very spicy mustard. I'm going to put taco seasoning in there because I like tacos. A little bit of crushed red pepper. Some curry, because curry always goes good in a stewp. Maybe some beef bouillon to make sure it tastes like beef in case the beef that's in there doesn't do it. Little bit of shaved coconut, because I got a giant bag here and I need to make use of some of it, so I'm going to throw some of that in there as well. It's not a bag of Coke, it's a bag of coconut. And cashews. I'm going to put some cashews in there. And butter, because everything tastes better with butter, so don't be afraid to throw butter in there, and salt, you know. We're going to get all this stuff. We're going to like scrape the counter with a sponge and take all the crap off of the counter and put it into the stewp. That's the goal. Smelling pretty good. Now if you're living in Lethbridge, you need to add some garlic to the mix. Garlic grown from Campbell Farms, which you can buy at the Lethbridge Farmer Market, or get a hold of Rob Campbell, the 24 Carat store. He'll sell you some of this garlic. Put some garlic in there, and I think we might add some rice noodles for a last bit, but that chicken was a bit raw still, so letting that boil some. Don't you hate when you're not strong enough to open a package on camera? Gotta cut it open.
Could have asked me to do
You don't want to be on camera.
No, I don't.
All right, we got some rice vermicelli noodles from the dollar store for $1.50. We got enough to make several stewps. And we're just gonna take some of that, maybe a third of that noodles, and put it into our mix. Behave, behave. Oh yeah, that's a stewp. Might put a couple of things in there to intensify the heat just a bit. Look at that, hey? Cashew, beef, bean, carrot, coconut, curry, hot sauce. Living good bachelor style.